my given disaster. Speed away from the holy mind. Pride, that's where I never thought it would matter. If I'm gone by now, all my weakness keep on linger on repeat like it will be my favorite song. Oh, I know I should be moving on, but you got me good, you got me good. I keep on driving till it bends, still it feels like I pretend. Keep on driving and driving along the roads and never end. Lost my head over my back between the jars and bottle jack. Just me and all the red lights. Keep on driving and driving. In the heat from a hot California, I forgot how you look like in rain. That's why I never thought it would matter. If I'm gone by now, all my weakness keep on linger on repeat like it will be my favorite song. Oh, I know I should be moving on, but you got me good, you got me good. I keep on driving till it bends, still it feels like I pretend. Keep on driving and driving along the roads and never end. Lost my head over my back between the jars and bottle jack. Just me and all the red lights. Keep on driving and driving. All the memories just lingers on repeat like it is never gonna stop. I can't help myself from feeling all alone, but you got me good, but you got me good.
You're a monster!
I can see the truth. No, you don't have to lie to me. Don't fill your head with things and think you're free. I can smell the fear, I think you made it clear. Yeah, I could be rude, be in the mood, I could be rotten. I could be cool, mind like a fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. You won't like what you see. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of me. Yeah. I'm not heater on you. No, I'm just telling you the facts. Oh, these chains can keep me down. Yeah. I can be rude, be in the mood, I can be rotten. I can be cruel, man, like the fool, but never forgotten. Creeping in the dark, waiting for you. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a monster, and I'm just here to haunt you. I've become your nightmare, slipping in your dreams. I'm the definition of the worst kind of mean. Yeah, I feel like a...
You don't believe in monsters, do you?
Of course not.
I do.
See me change into something darker. Yeah, I feel like a monster.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. How you doing, Patrick?
Pretty good, man. What about you?
Yeah, I am living the dream, as always. Living the dream. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed you didn't do your crazy new thing you're talking about.
You gotta watch the videos.
He's got a special treat for coming videos.
New video.
Patrick getting crazy. Patrick getting crazy. Welcome everyone. Alex, I see you there, buddy. I was getting worried. I didn't see you before, so good to have you there. All right. Let's start off with if you are new to Guy in a Cube, or if it's your first time looking at one of our live streams, put hashtag new in the chat. We like seeing the new folks. Uh-oh, what happened?
So,
Is this Jessica with her t-shirt thing?
no.
Oh.
Looking good today, Patrick, from Guy in the Cube. I assume that's Crystal.
That's Crystal. Yeah, Chatmaster C. There was a
incident.
There.
Let's call it an incident.
A little bit of a good time this last week.
Why, thank you, Crystal.
Yes,
Why, thank you.
Yes. Patrick is clothed today. That's all I'm gonna say. So Charles, good to see you. Naked Eye is new. Good to see you. Rushikesh, good to see you. Laura's Ancient. Oh, and then we got Terry's new. Arya Nessi's new. Wow, look at that. Thomas secondhand BI. David is secondhand as well. Yeah, that's good. Oh, and Arya's from the Philippines. Wow. And I saw Fahad was from, I think he said Australia. I think he's Sydney. Oh, 12:30 a.m. So it's a happy Sunday for Fahad and all of those in the New Zealand and Australia areas. So yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Andreas, Argentina. Wow. It's always amazing to see
Somebody
folks
was
from around
Egypt.
the world.
Yeah.
Egypt, really?
Somebody was from Egypt. Yeah. They were like, I'm close to the pyramids. They're close to the pyramids.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yes. All right. Love it. All right. And then also just thank you to all of our, all the members out there for Guy in a Cube. You folks help us do what we do, and we greatly appreciate it. Some of you have commented on the level up of our video production for our weekly videos, and that is a direct result of the members helping us to take things to the next level, which is what we love doing. So love that.
Yeah.
And if you do want to become a member, there's a join button down below if you're on the browser, or it's like somewhere if you're on a mobile app. If you click that, there's like a little video that just describes what it is. So no commitment if you want to check it out. So awesome. All right. And then for questions, let's get the questions queued up. Some folks have already been doing that, which is awesome. Be sure to put Q: in front of it so Chatmaster C can get it queued up for us. She is standing by in the background. And then Chatmaster C, as well as all the moderators, there is a 3 strikes rule, so please don't repeat your questions. You only have to do it one time, and then we try to get to as many as we can. If you, we do have a 3 strikes rule, so we will put you in a timeout at that point. For the members, if you want to hold your questions, after the first 30 minutes, we go to a members only chat, which will allow members to participate in the chat. Others can still view the stream, but won't be able to directly respond in the chat. So if you want to hold your questions till then, we'll let you know when you can start throwing those in there. And super chats always take priority. So, alrighty. So Patrick, I do want to start off with, I know we do have some questions queued up, but I do want to start off with, wait. Fahad, just going to call that out. Fahad, congrats, sir. Passing the DA 100 exam. Awesome achievement. Yay.
Congratulations.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Yep.
Great great step in your Power BI journey. So I love that. So Patrick, there was an email that went around last week. So the scenario is, and I want to get chat's impression of this. So if you're using dataflows and you've pulled in 1 billion rows and then want to do direct query on it, how do you think that's going to go? Just straight direct query on 1 billion rows in dataflows.
It should be blazing fast.
Blazing fast. Yes. Yes.
Whoosh.
Just curious
Like
what Thomas, not good.
Not good.
Not good. And then Kevin also, I bet pretty bad. Yep. Oh no, Matthew. No, Matthew, I've teased your blog post. There's a difference. I have not ruined it.
Yeah.
I'm teeing it up for you. So if you want to know the intricacies of that. So the other thing with that, so everyone's thinking bad, like probably performance definitely a thing there. But I would also add there's layers of wrongness there. And I'm assuming Matthew's blog is going to kind of touch on some of those thought processes in terms of the layers. So I won't give that away. But that is it was amazing to see. I was just like, oh my gosh, wow, really? I'm like, my initial reaction was, ooh, like that's not going to be well. So yeah, layers of wrongness. Yes, that is a phrase I've used over the years. Layers of wrongness. Yep. All right. So let's get into anything else, Patrick, top of mind before we get into the questions. We got a few queued up, so make sure get your questions in, folks. So, all right, we are ready. Let's get into the first one. Artemis was the first in chat this morning, so glad to see you made it, Artemis. Is there a way to load multiple tables without having to make multiple connections to our data source? Patrick's shaking his head yes, and I'm going to say it depends. So you go first, Patrick.
Go to my screen.
Go to your screen. Oh, Patrick was ready. See, Artemis, this is why when you get it in early, Patrick can like start playing with things. All right, here we go. Over to Patrick's machine.
Over to my laptop. Right. So I already have these in, and I have a source, right? So if I go to here, you can see my data source, right? I have a couple of data sources, but I want to connect to another table in SQL. All you need to do, if you're connecting to a table, if you're not going to use a native query or anything like that, right? If you're just connecting to a table, just use recent sources.
You got to zoom in on
source.
That. Zoom in on that.
Yeah. Find that source. I will not.
Oh.
What's going on with my zooming?
No.
And I just tested this too.
What?
I just tested this. Yeah. That's all right. I'll fix it. But right here, so you choose a database. Yeah, I just tested this too. I got a new setup. But you choose that recent connection. I can't choose this yet because of other reasons. But
I'm gonna switch over to my machine because I can zoom. Right. You're not on your Surface Book, are you?
No.
Okay.
No way.
All right. I'm gonna go over to my machine.
Just gave me a close zoom it. Let's open it back up.
All right. I've got multiple screens as well, and zoom it works just fine. So you want to go to recent sources and then pick your database, right?
No, it's working. I just had to close, zoom in, and reopen.
Or you can pick out your Access database. That always works.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Was that it, or did you want to show something else?
No, that's it. That's it. That's
All right. So Artemis, hopefully that
what's wrong with my Zoom?
hopefully that helps. So the reason I was saying it depends also, so that's one aspect of it. But there's also, so within a given connection to your data source, we can only issue a single query at a time. And so if it's trying to send multiple queries, you could end up with multiple connections at that point. And then those connections will end up getting pooled. There's this concept of connection pooling inside from a .NET perspective. And so then those connections will get reused. So just be aware of that you don't necessarily have total control over that. I would also say that I would also ask, like, what's the challenge in terms of having multiple connections? What's the problem there? Right. So, like, is it actually causing an issue, or are we just thinking we should only ever have one actual connection? So, because generally, like, the only thing I can think of is if you have multiple queries going, obviously that's performance on your database. And so if you're worried about a ton of queries going, yeah, that could be problematic. The other thing too, for direct query, like, it's going to be per visual at that point. So that's a whole different game. So be aware of that. All right. Good question. Then Artemis said it takes so long to run a subquery. So that's still a single query though. So yeah, there's database tuning that you'll have to look at as well from that standpoint. Look at the execution plans depending on the database and go from there. And then, yeah, query folding, native query, all that stuff. All right. Good. Are you good, Patrick?
Yeah, something's going on with my Zoom.
Yeah, Patrick is bummed. Patrick is bummed.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. Let's go to, so Taylor's got a question here. I follow Patrick's advice for separating my data models from the reports, and have recently ran into an issue where a visual works just fine in the data model file, but won't work in the report file. Need more info than that.
Yeah.
Taylor, what's the problem?
Yeah.
So the things that are coming to the top of my head are, like, if the report is in a different workspace, and then the folks that are viewing the report, like, do they have build access on the data set? If it's in a different workspace, so like some permission things may be coming into play. But Taylor, I would need more info on that. I'm looking at the chat, but
then make sure that data set is published. You know, maybe you made some changes or something to your data set and it's not all synced up. You know, there's a great external tool by the guys over at DAX Tips where you don't even have to publish it. You could swap back and forth to do some testing. I forgot the name of the tool. It is called Hot Swap Connections. You can use that to do some testing also before you publish it out to make sure everything is working.
Report shows NA for the KPI card. If everything else is working, like you're not actually getting a permission error, then it may be, I don't know.
Good point by Alex though. Check your filters. Check your filters on your report. Check your filters on your report. It's a great one, Alex.
The other thing too is when you publish it, the NA and all that, like, is RLS also coming into play? I don't know if you're using row level security for the end users that are looking at it. Is that happening for every user? So there's a lot of things to look at there. Again, layers of wrongness or potential layers. So, Alex is here. Look at this. Sweden Alex. Why on earth is Adam drinking from a completely bland mug?
Look at this.
Oh, you're wearing the SQL family thing. Yes, that was Alex.
Look at that, Alex.
So, Chatmaster C refers to Alex as my sweetie because he's from Sweden. So, welcome, sir. Yes. And the bland mug, you're right. I should fix that. So, alrighty.
Got to at least have one that says Microsoft.
I do have the Power BI. I do have that one. All right. Moving on. So Naked Eye, I saw that you have 2 questions here. I'm gonna pull one of them. Let's go. Can I write SQL query in Power BI, all full queries like aggregations using pivot functions?
As long as it's valid T-SQL.
Yes. Well, so it depends. So like you can't.
There's some things that's not supported, right? But the pivot should work. I've done the pivot before, done groupings before.
So like CTEs, I know
work.
there's issues with CTEs. Like you can't do that.
There's issue with CTEs. But when you go to connect,
Jeff is right there with me. He's like CTEs.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep.
And there's
I got you, Jeff.
Trying to use temp tables and stuff, right? I tried that. That's some things that you can get stuck on too. So be careful with that. But yeah, you can. Yes, there are limitations. So Taylor just said there's some limitations with stored procedures. Absolutely. Be careful. No direct query.
Yeah, direct query does an issue with that. So the other thing I would say is, and also like no DDL type statements. So don't do any create table, anything like that. Don't do any of that.
Don't do it.
So Taylor says he uses, assuming, Taylor may not be.
No, you can. You can. You just have to be careful. You just have to be careful with recursion. Yeah, with the recursion and stuff like that. So bam, Thomas just read my mind. Create views. Create a view, man. If you can, create a view. There you go, Thomas. He's reading my mind. Yes. Create a view.
Yes. So, yep. Awesome. As with all things, it depends. All right, let's go. Fahad's got one coming in from Australia. Is there any way to pre-select the date slider with a value using DAX? Pre-select less than 5 years from today.
Go watch the time periods video. That we released a couple of weeks ago. So you can't automatically do it, but you can set a filter if you use one of those time period patterns that I talked about in the video, and then you can select it, and then whenever someone runs a report, it'll automatically apply that filter. So that's what you can do. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Put it in the chat. That's great.
Look at you.
I'm trying to get to Alex level of I'm trying to be like Alex.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I was actually sitting there sweating, going like, please let me beat Alex. All right.
That's next level, man.
All right. This one's gonna be good. I'm getting data from various pages from the web, param plus function. And when applying the query changes, it is taking a long time, 1 hour plus and going. There are 2 tables with around 5,000 rows each. Any tips?
Are you doing a merge or something? Or an append or something in Power Query?
So the typical way that I see this, and I had someone else, I walked through this during the week. I mentioned it to you. And they were calling an API against the Azure price page. There's an API for that. And so you can do this as a function that's going to make the web call. And then you have a table that just has a list of the items, and then that's the parameter that goes in. There are so many things. I don't know what that web call is actually doing. That's going to be the first thing. Right. So is it calling an API? Is it actually doing web scraping? Like what is that web call doing? And then depending on what you're doing, like that could be the performance issue. One thing I would do is maybe run a fiddler trace and actually see the request response and see if the timings there are causing problems. So like, is the actual web call slow? Is it, depending on what you're doing transformation wise outside of that? So those items you could end up doing multiple calls. There's a lot of things that could be going on there. So I would definitely
You can also use the query diagnostics, and that the query diagnostics in Power Query, you can do that, and it will show you some good stuff about durations and the queries that's being run and stuff like that. So you check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex had a good comment about the doing the relative
course.
path for
Of course.
paging. So I've done that too. Sometimes that gets a little wonky depending on the web call. So the one I was helping out with, like that did not, like there were bad things that happened there. So some of that gets a little. The other thing too is if in the web what you're doing for the paging, like if you're doing some sort of like string concatenation, that instead of doing like the relative path like Alex said, that could inject some performance overhead as well. So maybe play around with how you're doing there. So all right, good discussion. And Alex, the other Alex, apparently got a new house, so congrats on that.
Congratulations.
That's always exciting. Okay, moving along. All right, Damien, what are practical advantages of splitting data set from the report? Oh, he's just teeing that up for you, Patrick.
You know, we talked about me doing a video on my 5 reasons why you should do this, right?
Did you ever do that?
I didn't. I have all 5 of them written down over here on my whiteboard.
Sorry to sidestep this, but I will also comment on the fact that during the live streams, you write down things like, oh, it's a good video idea. And then you call me up during the week going like, I don't have any video ideas.
Well, because I started tinkering with it, and I go, tinkering with it, I go, that's not a good idea. Like the one coming out next week. All right,
That's a good
the one
video.
coming out next week. It took a little bit.
That's a good video.
Do that video. I will do that video too. But I'm going to give you guys the main reason. Right? If you have 100 data sets, right? There's possibly little pockets of the same data spread across all of those data sets, right? Just agree. Just say yes, Adam. Agree.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Right? There's little silos of that data all across it. What happens when you have all those data sets to the consistency of that data? Right?
It's problematic.
The consistency of that data, right, it is tremendously problematic. If you start minimizing the number of data sets, I'm not saying you just need one data set, right? Because you may need multiple data sets to answer all the different questions across your organization. But as you shrink the surface area of, so I have 1 million data sets, now I have 5, right? The consistency of my data will go up. The surface area of all that data that you have that's exposed to people across all of your organization is smaller. So now you can maintain the security of it across a smaller number of data sets, but also maintenance of those data sets is so much easier. Like the logic, if I write a measure that calculates all the viewers that we have on Guy in a Cube, and we have a special calculation, if I have 100 data sets and that calculation needs to be spanned across all those data sets, I got to maintain it across all of them. But if I have fewer data sets, it's easier to maintain it. And now people reporting using that single data set, when I make a change, all the people that's connecting that data set will inherently pick up all those changes. That's just 3 of them, but I got 2 more. Stay tuned for the video.
So Taylor had an interesting comment here. I'm gonna add another thing, which maybe, I don't know if it's one of your top 5 or whatever, but it's part of my top 5. But Taylor has an interesting point. He says that depends on using a single source of truth versus building the truth in Power BI. Interesting.
I like the comment, Taylor, but if we build the truth in Power BI, right? If we build the truth in Power BI, that's the truth in one model. So now I got to spread the truth across multiple places. Do I want to do that? Because if I start spreading the truth, if I tell Alex today is Wednesday, then he tells somebody else today is Wednesday. By the time it gets to the 5th data model, today's not going to be Wednesday anymore, right? So when you start spreading the truth, it quickly becomes a lie. So we got to think about, not spreading the truth too thin.
Yep.
Anyway, Patrick speaking the truth.
Yeah. There you go. Alex agrees with you. The other thing I'll add too, like say we've got 5 data sets out there that are all pulling the same data. Yeah. And you got to refresh all 5 of those. So now
that's number 4.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, so now you've just added overhead on your data source that didn't necessarily need to be there, because you're just querying it again and again and again. So that's something, especially if it's like a large model, like that's a lot of extra load. Matthew said something. I saw +1 for Matthew and then queued on it. So he said, as far upstream as possible, as far downstream as necessary. I love that.
That's right.
I love that.
It. I love it, Matthew.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. So just be mindful. I will also say, look, there's going to be edge cases, right? Where, look, you've got to do something there. So yes, but in general, those are the things that we think about and that you should look at. So. Awesome.
Oh, Alex is disagreeing? I
Wait.
disagree that the biggest reason is this one. Oh, okay. My number one. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying, Alex. Okay. Gotcha.
What was your number one?
DevOps.
Oh.
Well, I haven't ordered them yet. I just was rambling them off. But DevOps, absolutely.
He hasn't ordered it yet.
DevOps.
He hasn't sorted
DevOps.
yet. He still needs to sort.
DevOps, Alex. You are right. Because, now, and if you look at the board, right, it gives you a separation of duties. Now I have somebody that's a data modeler and I have a report designer. And so now I can really have a true development lifecycle. And I did a video, I forget the video where I talked about, it was some 5 things video. And somebody made a comment. It was like, Patrick, we don't have that type of environment, where we have a report developer and we have a data modeler. And so we can't have this separation. But again, right, these are my
the same
opinions.
person.
This is how it could be the same. Absolutely.
Could be the same person.
Absolutely. But again, this is how I think, right? If we're talking about real enterprise business intelligence, development, I treat, when I'm designing the data model, when I'm designing the report, it's like a software development process, right? When those developers are designing their fancy .NET code, they're not just, deploying stuff and everything's consolidated. They break it up into little pieces. That's what we should do too. We should treat this like real software. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one.
All right.
Sorry.
So Mimo's got one. It seems like the new release wave Dataflow enhanced compute engine will use Spark. Any further details? I have no further details.
I don't know.
I thought it was using SQL.
Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Matthew may have
SQL.
responded already in the chat. I didn't see it.
Oh.
I thought it was using SQL. I don't know if we're using Spark or not. Yeah. So maybe. I don't know. So I know, like, in terms of the enhanced compute, the way it's. Oh, Matthew said he has not responded. Excellent. All right. Now I feel like I didn't miss it. And then Alex said Power Platform data flows will use Spark. Is that the same thing? I don't know.
I have no idea, man.
Yeah. Matthew hasn't looked at the release wave yet.
I need to I need to do some looking at data flows. I need to really dig into data flows and see what's going on there.
Yes. The other thing I will add, just to stoke Alex a little bit, the release notes are great. You should look at those. I'll just leave that
Alex
there.
Dupla. Power BI is real software. Yes, it is, my friend. Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, so Evan, let's see how many we can get in. I just looked at the clock. I'm like, holy cow, this time goes by so fast. Is it possible to use Dataflow to connect, a lot of Dataflows questions, to connect to SAP BW and expose cubes? I would not do that. So here's the problem. If you're doing, typically when you connect to SAP BW or to SAP HANA, a lot of folks tend to go the direct query route because that gets the actual functionality. This is the same thing as if you were connecting to analysis services, import versus live connect.
Oh, okay.
If you're doing it that way, you're importing the data. If you're importing the data, you're losing that functionality of the cube-like functionalities on the data source. So I wouldn't necessarily do that. So just be aware of it. So it's a no. Okay.
One more.
Let's see what else we got. All right. Okay. So Ka's got one. I saw the ability to embed. Data train. Thank you for the super chat. We'll get to that real quick. So I saw the ability to embed Power BI into Teams, but can the other party see me toggle Power BI during a Teams meeting? No. The answer to that is no. So this is it. when you embed it in Teams, so if you're in a Teams channel and you've got the tab with the Power BI report, it's exposed to other people, but it's in your so it's your session to that report. It's not a shared session unless you're sharing your desktop.
Unless you're sharing your screen.
Unless you're sharing your screen. But they're not going to see, as you click, they're not going to see the same thing. So if they go to that report, they're going to have their own session with that report. So, yeah. Nice. And also, so I did see Wukash posted it out. The new Teams app, or the Teams app for Power BI is available now, which is kind of like having the homepage inside of Teams, if that's your jam. So I did a tweet this morning where I showed an app in Power BI inside of the app in Teams, and it's like Inception. It was amazing. So, all right. So I am gonna get to Mr. Neal's super chat at this time. If we're gonna cut over to member only chat. Sorry for everyone we didn't get to your questions. This goes by so fast. We're going to cut over to member only chat where members will be able to participate. Everyone can still view the live stream and see the back and forth, but only members will be able to enter chat. If you do have a burning question, super chats will take priority. So let's go ahead and cut that over. So members, this is now your...
Laura says we lost Patrick as he starts to play with Teams. How did you know? That's what I was doing. How did you know, Laura?
Patrick's easily distracted. Squirrel.
It's like a shiny coin across the table. It's like, oh.
Wait, this is Patrick as he gets distracted.
Squirrel.
That was good. Now that's a good use of the voice. Right. I like it.
I don't know if Alex approves of that. So, all right. So Neil had a question here. So, what was the most exciting announcement for Power BI Ignite? What would you like to see added? So we did talk about this. We had the live stream with John and Jason from BI Focal. We talked a lot about that. Happy to repeat that here. And also we did the stream with Chris Finland last week, where we had a lot of Mark Walter, better voice. That was nice. So Patrick, what was your favorite item?
Real quick. Let's just go with the consensus. Premium per user. Let's just go with it.
Premium per user.
Yeah, let's just go with it.
So Patrick is conceding to the masses.
I'm conceding to the masses.
Thomas, the new Power BI logo. Yes. It's amazing that I think the logo thing, the icon logo thing, had more buzz than most everything else. That was amazing. There were so many things that came out. It's Christmas in September, I guess. I like some of the enhancements in Power BI Desktop are really cool. I highlighted some of those, like the ability to keep the layer of something in the background. It's those little things that get me. I like the big things too. Premium per user is going to be amazing. And there were just so many good things, but I like those little things. And like Patrick called out, the ability to search for workspaces when you go to get a data set. It's those little things. It just makes it a little better, right? It makes it a little easier. And I do appreciate that. So, Giovanni, I don't like the new logo. So, well, that's good because it was a new icon, not a logo. Maybe.
Dude.
What?
I just figured out this app in Teams.
You just figured it out.
I just figured out how to do it.
Okay. Good for you.
I know, right?
Look at Patrick learning. He's still on Teams. He's not even paying attention. Adam B, thank you for becoming a member. Nice.
It's so nice. It's so nice. It's so nice.
You like it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Glad you like it.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Go to his desktop. Go to my desktop. Go to my desktop.
Okay.
All right. So in Teams,
can you zoom at all? If not, I can do it. If you can't zoom,
you don't have to.
We'll go to mine.
You don't have to zoom. It's all in this. Look, you just type Power BI.
I'm old, man. Yeah.
Get out of here, man. You click it.
So this part was confusing for me. This was confusing.
Yeah.
So show it.
Well, you had to go to apps, right? You had to
go to
apps.
No. Yeah, I know. But when you click on it, click on the thing.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in?
I cannot zoom in.
All right, we're going over to my machine.
Okay, go to your machine then. Show this though. It's so awesome.
Patrick. All right. We're going over to mine. And I know I've got dark mode. I apologize for that. Power BI. This was confusing to me, and I had to pause. Oh, I've got it already. Oh, there it is. So when you do this, it'll say like add right here instead of open. I've already got it installed. So you get two options, add to a team or add to a chat. Well, I don't want to do either one of those. I want to add it as an app on the bar on the left, but it didn't do that. So I clicked on the add item and then it just worked. So that part was confusing to me. That was confusing. And so when you do that,
yeah, show us what happens when you do it.
Yeah, so when you do that, you'll see over here, and I didn't pin it yet, but you'll see Power BI here as one of the listed apps, right? And so when we click on that, let me pin it so we can, and then you just have it's like the Power BI home screen inside of Teams.
Oh,
right?
Man.
Yeah, and they're going to be
using Power BI.
Yeah, they're going to be working on like the bar up top, adding more things. So there's a learn section and about. The learn thing has a lot of good possibilities. So yeah, check it out. See if you like. If you like, if you live in Teams and you're there, this is nice because it brings it to the people. I know there are some people that feel frustrated by Teams, and this may not be their jam. So do it in the browser instead. So I do like that there's options available now, right? So if people like that, it's available. So all right, cool. You need to fix the Zoom, my friend.
I'm buying a new monitor.
Okay.
That'll solve the problem.
I don't know why it's not working on your. I've got 3 monitors.
I don't know why it's not. It was working and then it just stopped. I don't know what's the.
All right. Where was the? All right. Looks like Nick. Nick was the first one. Let's go. Where are you, Nick? All right, Nick. Individual dashboard alerts are set up on a card for each site we have. Is there a way to identify if an alert has been sent? I don't think I, the tenant admin, can see report on this. That is a correct statement. So from a tenant perspective, an all up perspective, there's not. The only thing I would look at also, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know if this is actually there, but in the activity log, I don't know if I'm going to mute Patrick there because he's typing. I don't know if the activity log has an event for when the alert gets fired. So that would be the other option if that's there, but there's not an actual report inside of the service that actually has that for you. So yeah, sorry. Ideas.powerbi.com. All right. Good. All right. What? Oh shoot!
My monitor fund. Alex contributed to my monitor fund.
Or Alex, thank you so much. We have so many funds going on. That's nice. It's nice. All right. Alberto has got one. I have analysis services tabular on-prem. When passing through the gateway, user culture is not passed down, so label transition doesn't work. Oh, yep, that's a problem.
It's a problem.
I don't have a good answer for you on that because it doesn't pass it. So if it's not passing it, there's not a way you can actually do. So the translation pieces in general, that is a topic. I know it's been discussed before. It's something that's being looked at. It's not an easy item to solve, from my understanding. Believe it or not, there are complexities there on the service side. A lot of people just think, oh, it's just easy, just pass it down. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that though. So I don't have a good answer for you on that. And these are hard questions. So yeah, it does not pass it.
So I used my mute button that time I started typing. Use my mute button.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yeah,
More money for my
Alex,
fund.
appreciate that. Welcome back, sir. Yes, Patrick, it's good to use the devices that you purchase. That's why it's there.
There you go. I did it.
So where was? So Alberto said that the only way that he's found is to use many gateways, one for each culture. Yeah, that's an option. It's not a great option, but it is an option. So.
Ooh.
Yep. It just doesn't do it. So sorry.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Jessica. So there's a holy cow. She's got multiple parts here. Whew. Okay, let's do this. All right, part one. Long question ahead. Thanks for the tip there. What happens when person A has access to dataset 1? Person A makes a report with visuals drawing from dataset 1. Person A sends Power BI. I'm going to have to write this down. We need a diagram. Sends PBIX to person B, who's responsible for publishing it. Person B does not have access to dataset 1. That's going to be a problem. So the visual using dataset 1 breaks. That's a true statement. They need build access. Person B goes ahead and publishes the report to the workspace. Person C, D, and E, members of the workspace, do have access to dataset 1. In the workspace, do the visuals using dataset 1 display properly for C, D, and E? My expectation would be yes, they do. Because if they have build access to the dataset, it should work. It should. But I would also ask that if person B, who doesn't have access to dataset 1 and goes to create a report and is going to publish it, so are they just doing a straight out publish? Or are they actually making because if they go to make modifications, I don't know how they would if they can't even see what they're doing. So that would be weird. But yes, my expectation is that would work. I'd want to validate that and actually try it, but it should, as long as they have build access to the data set. Matthew. Oh, it's like the math questions I've been dealing with my daughters. Person B leaves PBIX 9 at 60 meters per hour.
ACT
How long does it take?
Like
Yes. Wow. Yes. But yes, as long as a person has build access when they go to view the report, it should work. It should work.
Yeah, sure.
That wasn't bad. I got a little scared when I saw it was a 4-parter, but we did it. Congratulations, Patrick.
Call a friend, open a Premier support ticket.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was where was that?
It should work though. It should work.
Yeah.
It should work.
Yeah, that was good. Call a friend, B, open a Premier support ticket. Although, yeah, I won't comment on that.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, is it possible to write back data with Power Apps and the XLMA endpoint to datasets in use and report using the app? No. So datasets in general aren't meant to be written to. You have to process them. So, yeah. So that's a negative. Now, where I've seen, and Patrick, you've done demos on this, of where you have a mix of using composite models, a mix of import and direct query. And then the Power Apps will write back to the SQL table. The direct query portion will update. And then the import items would need to be refreshed at that point. So so that's an option. Yep. Yeah, direct query is the way to go, as Donald said. So yeah, you can't actually do the right. So now I've heard people say, but wait, Power BI's got the push API data sets that you could do. Don't use those. Just don't use it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Don't use it. Don't use the push APIs.
Yeah.
So,
we got a video. We got a video to show you how to set it up with Power Query. I mean, with Direct Query and Power Apps.
Yes.
There's a video out there somewhere on our YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yep. That's not. I've heard that question before too. That's not the first time I've heard that question. So.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Is there a way to list workspaces attached to a specific capacity?
I think so.
List workspace. I didn't see this option in the Power. So you can filter. So when you do the get workspaces, you can. I thought it would show the capacity as part of that, as part of the items that come back. And then as part of that, you could do a filter on it at that point using amazing PowerShell. So. Patrick's looking at it. So if it is returned in the result, which I believe it is, then you should be able to filter on that from a PowerShell perspective. You get it?
No, I don't see the capacity in the get groups. I don't see the capacity as an option that's returned. That's what I'm looking for. Oh no, is it on dedicated capacity?
Well, does it show the capacity ID?
Yeah, I don't see that.
It should. I thought it did. Here, hang on.
Let me look at Let me look at gate groups.
There is Workspaces, get Workspaces, get Power BI Workspace.
Capacity.
Oh, and of course the PowerShell page doesn't actually list what's returned.
Oh no, it does. The capacity ID.
Yeah, capacity ID.
So you can filter by the you can filter by the capacity ID.
Yeah.
Filter by the capacity.
Just do it
ID.
as a filter.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
Excellent. Good. Where am I? All right. All right, Thomas. Was there any news on limiting the number of data refreshes in the Power BI service?
Limiting.
No.
Do you want to stop people from refreshing, Thomas?
So the limits that are there today are still good. There's no change to that. So it's 8 refreshes for a non-premium data set. And then if it is premium based from the UI or the GUI, it's going to be 48 times in terms of scheduled refresh. So, and then for premium, the API, if you're doing API refreshes, there's no limit on that. That's not changing. Now with the premium Gen 2 items, like that potentially gets scaled out. So in terms of the limits on a premium capacity, like so for P1 today, you're limited to 6 concurrent refreshes. That potentially, and I haven't seen details go out about. I've heard comments, but I haven't actually seen details. But that should be better. Not necessarily limited to 6 concurrent, so it's based on more CPU than anything else. So that's going to get spread out a little more. So that'll be better. But you're still limited on a single data set to 48 times a day on premium or premium per user. So yeah, good question.
That was a good question.
All right, Laura. If my dataflow entity includes a merge, does incremental refresh work? Does it refresh both sources? Ooh, I don't know that we've tried incremental refresh with a merge.
I have not tried incremental refresh with a merge.
So would query folding get pushed? That's the question. So I'd have to try it. I'd have to try it.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
If the query folding kicks in,
as long as it's query folding back and the where predicate for the incremental refresh gets pushed, but then when it comes back on the merge, like it'd have to go back to both sources. So that's the question.
Yeah.
That's funny. Matthew said, "Let him know when Laura tried." That's one of those things too, where like for a nuanced item like that, we have to try it. Like I have to go see what it does. I don't know if we've never done it, or paid attention to that. So
Laura, are they the same source?
Yeah, like so. Are we doing
in
like
the chat.
two items going back to the same SQL server? Would that matter?
Or is
though?
it like a?
Why would that matter?
Well, because if I want to test it, I want to reproduce her scenario. That's why. I'm just being selfish because I would just want to try to reproduce what she's trying to do. Two tables, but Laura, are they both in SQL, or is one in SQL, one in Oracle, one in SQL, one in Excel?
So 2 tables, but is it the same source?
Is it the same SQL server or Oracle
same
server?
SQL server. Yeah. All right. So anyway,
you said same SQL server.
Same SQL.
Okay.
Same.
All right.
Did she?
I don't know. I didn't see a response. I didn't see a response.
Both in Project Connect. Oh, yeah, no. That's now OData. Ooh. I'm going to go and say no. It's not going to work. I'm just going to say that. Although I did say that for another thing that's coming out in Patrick's video on Wednesday, and I was delightfully proved wrong. And it's
But
very.
then at the end,
I
at the
redeemed
end-
myself. I did redeem myself.
you redeem yourself. You redeem yourself at the end.
So with OData, technically it does do some query folding, but when you start getting into weird, complicated things like that, I'm just going to say no.
Matthew's comment is the best. OData and incremental refresh is not a happy story.
Yes. Yes. I would say that's not going to work. Yeah. Anytime someone mentions OData to me, I'm like, oh no. Oh no. All right. See, details matter. It also reinforces the whole it depends. Like if we're talking SQL, maybe. If we're talking OData, most likely not.
But that's something that's interesting though, right? If I have two tables and I merge them, will incremental refresh both of them? That's just something good to test. That's something good to test.
I agree.
Not a good video, but something good to test. Something good to test.
I agree. Yeah. So Laura said she still wants to know for SQL Server. So yes. So I've been so you could do like a gaming video, Patrick, where they do a let's play, and so you could do that with the. I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Next question. What's your experience on concurrent user performance on shared capacity? So this means non-premium capacity.
Yep.
Or non-premium workspaces around 1 to 1.5 gigabyte model. I would say simple DAX and model right now on Azure AS S1, but we don't really have chance to stress that. So S1, it's going to fail miserably.
Miserably.
S1 is really not. I would not recommend an S1 for production. It's just it's so limited. It is so limited, especially for that size of a model. But you said so the concurrency though. So when we think about concurrency, the concurrencies from what I've seen is really around the data set, right? So the actual data model. There could be some things on the report side, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the data model. And you threw in a curveball there because you said you're on Azure AS S1. Your concurrency now is gated by Azure Analysis Services, not necessarily Power BI. And so the shared capacity versus premium capacity, that almost doesn't even come into play because the data set's not even hosted inside of Power BI. You're hosting the model in Azure AS. So your issue on the concurrency side is going to be the S1, right? Yes, thank you, Patrick. So the S1 is going to be your gate there. And the other thing with capacity or concurrency is what concurrency are you thinking? But yeah, you'll probably have to scale that up so Donald had a good comment. Donald said he hammers an S1 with about 25 users, fairly heavy CPU, but works okay. What size of data model on that, Donald? I'm curious about that. I'd be very curious on that because if we're talking a 1 to 1.5 gig model, is that on disk? Is that in memory? Like, does it get bigger as people query things? Some of that performance is going to be around how you've actually structured your data model plus the DAX. So lots of if depends there. Santosh, thanks for becoming a member. No, Donald said 2 gig model. So all right, yeah.
And S1 has 25 gigs of RAM though.
Does it? How many cores? Or what's the?
It has 100 QPUs, so that's 4 cores.
Yeah. Because
it's like 25 QPUs per core.
Okay.
So 4 cores. It's kind of like the
P1.
back end of a P1. Yeah. You should be able to get away with it. Yeah. I was thinking B1. I was thinking B1 with the 40 QPUs. That's the one I was thinking. Okay. But an S1, that's the standard tier. That should work.
Well, again, it goes around what kind of concurrency are you thinking?
Yeah.
And then also, are you super optimized? So Donald even mentioned he had to do some tuning, and that's true. You're going to have to tune that thing. So, and I've seen too go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I've seen where someone sent me like a Power BI desktop file where it was like a little over a gig on disk, and in memory that thing bloated and started getting out of it. It went up to like 40 gig about in memory. So I'm assuming the 1 to 1.5 gig, we're saying that's in memory. I'm assuming.
Yeah, you gotta try it though.
Yeah, you gotta do
try
load testing. Whenever you're talking concurrency, you've gotta do load testing. There's no easy way for me to say yes, that will work, or no, that won't work, because there's so many factors that depend. The other thing that depends is the report, how many visuals are on there. So how many queries are actually going to the back end, times that by the number of users. So some of the tuning there is going to be optimize the report as well and limit the number of visuals so that we're not hammering the back end. So, yep. All right, cool. That's a good question though. I do like that question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Very good. All right, Prem Chander. Tips to improve performance on table visual, especially while using measures in it like P&L statements. Takes longer time to render and only gets executed after all other visuals.
It depends.
Well, so if you're saying it gets rendered after all the other visuals, there's only so much you can do there, right? So that's not actually something you can do on the table visual itself. How many other visuals are in front of it? How many other visuals are total on the report? And then in terms of the table itself, I mean, how many columns are we showing? How many rows? Like, are things expanded? I mean, there's so many factors there.
When you open up the perf analyzer, there's 3 things, right? The DAX, the visual, and the other. Which one's taking the longest? Is it the DAX that's taking the longest? Then we can optimize the DAX. If it's the visual and the other, you got to look at optimizing the visuals for performance on that page. So you gotta narrow it down to where the bottleneck is for that table, and then decide how you optimize it from there.
The other thing too that you could do as well is that table that you've got for the P&L. Like, can we stick that on its own page by itself? And then now we've isolated that. Let's play with just that table to see if we can affect the timings on that, and then bring it back into the holistic report, and then start optimizing things around it, right? So those are things you could do as well. Less is more. So I've seen people where they just throw everything under the sun into that table visual and or matrix, and then why is this taking so long? And then they try and do it with direct query, and that's just a bad day. Lots of things to consider there. Hopefully that helps you, gave you some pointers. I hope.
Yeah.
Alex, my sweetie. Teams and Power BI integration. What are the licensing options for users without a pro license? Premium. Or premium per user once that's available.
Yeah.
So they got to be licensed. So
premium.
Yep. No free lunch, unfortunately.
No free lunch, SQL family. No free lunch.
Yes. PBI family. We need a PBI family one.
Yeah, we do.
I know you don't like PBI, but it's a good hashtag. All right, Alex. Mr. Alex, so glad you were able to make it today, Alex. Can we have a vote to remove the pie chart sticker? Should not be condoning any pie other than mother's apple pie. Oh,
you can remove.
That makes me sad.
The pie chart sticker from.
No, he's talking about the emote, the member emote in the chat. I like it. It's good.
Okay.
I mean, you could do a vote if you want. That's fine. Doesn't mean I'm gonna act on it.
I don't. You have to show me what you're talking about. I don't know.
We're talking about. Well, you're not a member, Patrick, so you don't get it.
Okay. Okay.
You have to be a member.
Okay.
You should join, Patrick.
I should join.
Yeah, the members have a good time. It's
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Patrick's doesn't get the cool emotes. Chewy, my Houston buddy. Any info on getting a connector to Planner and oh man, that came up a week or two ago as well.
But we just talked to somebody about this. We
talked to someone about this. Was this on the live stream or was this?
Oh no.
Where was this?
I know where it was, and we can't talk about where it was.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't on the live stream.
All right.
No. Okay. So, but we did have this conversation. This did come up.
Yes, we can't talk about it.
Well, so the answer is I'm not aware of any connector to Planner. There's nothing on the roadmap that I'm aware of. right.
So there you go, Matthew. There you go. I did not know that, Matthew.
It's
I didn't know it
coming
was public.
It's coming last month.
It's coming September 2020. It's on the release whatever.
Release notes.
I didn't know that. It's
That's
release
for you, Alex.
wave.
Improvements
There you go.
in the
Thank you,
planner
Matthew.
connector. Wait. Improvements in the planner connector. Does that mean it
Let's
already
see.
existed?
I'm checking. I'm looking.
Improvements means
I'm
that it
looking.
already existed. That's how I read that.
Planner.
That
I don't see it.
and it says
I
September.
don't see a planner.
So it might be okay. So improvements may not have been the right word. Okay, well, it's coming. It's coming. Obviously, it didn't land in the September build. I love that. Makes Matthew's comment so much funnier. Like it was coming last month, but it didn't. So, all right. There you go. Learn something every day. Although we did have this conversation, and I thought there was some other.
Yes.
I don't know.
We did. I'll show you when. I'll show you where we had this
Yeah, you'll tell
conversation.
me
I
later.
remember.
We did
I
have this
remember.
conversation. All right.
Yes,
So
we
it's
did.
coming. Maybe it'll be in the October. I don't know. Stay tuned. Okay. Oh, Alex brought up a good point. So the data integration stuff. So does that mean that it's coming
that's not
for
Power BI?
Is that coming for Power BI or is it coming for? So improvements means that connector probably already existed on the Power Apps, Power Automate. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, in Power BI. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not aware of it coming for Power BI, but all right.
Thomas said there's no Kerberos today because it doesn't just work.
It's like Kerberos. It just works. Yeah.
That's not efficient.
All right. So I'm gonna get one more because Heidi came in right at the last minute last week, and I see she's got two there, so I do want to get one from her. So let's do this. What tools do you use to do automated testing for BI solutions? Insisting on Power BI service deployed, tabular, multi, blah, blah, blah. So in terms of, if we're talking about load testing or that type of approach, you've got a couple options. There is a PowerShell script. Alex, help me out with the link, buddy. There is a PowerShell script you can do. I'm not going to call that true load testing because it's not, but it does give you an idea, and you can inject load if you're on premium. If you're not on premium, you can't do any load testing. Outside of premium, you have to be on premium to do any type of load testing. That's actually defined in the licensing agreement and whatnot. That's true for Azure as well. Like they ask you not to do certain things because it could incur undue stress depending on how you do it. So only do load testing on premium. And then if you are going to do a true load test, which includes think time, as well as handling of the auth tokens, things of that nature, you could look at Visual Studio Web Test or things like, Selenium is another one I know of that folks have used. So those allow you to record the steps and then replay it back, but you got to account for the auth token as part of that. And it allows you to inject think time. If you're not familiar with think time, if that's a new concept for you, so think about if you're on a Power BI report, most people don't just hammer the report, right? So you look at the report, or the report loads, you maybe slice, you stop and look at what's going on, and then you may click again. So that's think time. So you have to account for that when we're talking about concurrency. So yes, good question.
Matthew's got a good blog post on it too. Capacity load assessment.
Oh,
yeah.
Matthew put it. I was going to tell Patrick to put the link in the chat, but Matthew did.
No,
so that's
Matthew
good.
already did it.
That's good. Yeah, Sergey's tool on GitHub is what I was referring to with the PowerShell piece. I do not refer to that as true load testing though, because it's not. But it is a helpful tool to use. You should definitely be doing that if you're on premium. It's a good place to start. So, alrighty, I think that's it. That makes it for the day. Any last words, Patrick? Oh.
No. People are asking about my shirt. I don't even know where I got this shirt from. I have
that
no
was
idea.
from, that was our buddies at the,
Confio?
No.
What does it say?
Power Platform World Tour. I have it. Oh, it's from Zap. From Zap. From the folks over at Zap. They sent us the shirts.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah.
Great people. Trey and yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right,
That's
yeah, we
right.
hang
I
out
love
with
this
them.
shirt. I love this shirt. Yeah.
Yes. Alrighty. All right, folks. Thank you for hanging in there with us for on another Saturday. We will be back, same bat time, same bat channel next week. Looking forward to it. And then, yeah. So have a great rest of your weekend. We will see ya.
I belong to you.
I belong to you.